Good morning, self-paced learning families. This is Assistant Principal at Westwood, Allison Tobler, and I just wanted to go over a couple of ways that you can monitor your child as they work through the APEX Learning Program. If you have your child log in, you'll see at the top here is their name. I'm logged in as a practice student, and it will pop open to their dashboard. On the left-hand side is all of the courses they're currently enrolled in. In the middle is their grade to date. And this is the progress bar. And I feel like this is the quickest and easiest way for you to see if your child is on track for the quarter in their classes. So if you put your mouse right on top of this progress bar, it will show the exact percentage of the work that they have completed thus far. So as you can see, this shows 16.7% complete, and that is out of 100% for the quarter. The quarter at middle school level is 9 weeks. So if your child is making about 12% progress every week, they would be on track to be completed at the end of the quarter. This grade to date is a little bit deceiving because this shows 86.7%. That's the grade on the work they have actually gotten done. So if you click on this percentage, it'll show an actual grade book. So here is the course totals at the top, which so far I have earned 26 points out of a possible 174 points for the whole class, which is only 14.9%. So my actual grade right now would be 14.9% if this were the end of the quarter. If you look down the side here, you can see all of the assignments that are listed for the child. Now, we are not requiring the practices to be done unless a child has missed the quiz and has failed the quiz 3 times. And I'll show you what that looks like within the classes here in just a little bit. So you can see here, I completed the 2.1 section and I completed the quiz. I got an 8 out of 10, which is 80%. And it shows the date that I did that. Then I went ahead and did the next section and the next section. I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and if you click on the name of the course, it'll load up here in just a minute. And you can see there's also a progress bar here within each unit. So if I go to unit lesson 2.1, unit 2, lesson 2.1, you can see these check marks. So the check marks are the things that I have actually spent time on, and I have completed the work within that. The overview is usually just a minute or two. It goes over what's the whole entire section about. The study is really where I would encourage you to have your children spend their time. The study is like a guided notes. It's interactive. They will complete work within it, but it has the instructions and the paragraphs and examples just like the guided notes in a classroom would have. The checkup is usually 5 or 6 questions that are just a recap of that study. This is the instruction. I just want to really emphasize that the study is where they will get the information. Checkup is a quick little practice. And then there's a review, also another way to get a quick little practice. And then they're supposed to take the quiz. Now I want to show you that if I go to the next unit, I am able to jump straight to the quiz without doing any of these other things. So if you are seeing in that grade book scores like 1 out of 10 on a quiz, 2 out of 10 on a quiz, I would go in and look, because my bet is they didn't do the study, they didn't do the checkup or review. These things are not worth points in the grade book, but they are where they're going to get their instruction and practice before taking that quiz. And again, our teachers have decided as a group that if a child misses a quiz 3 times, then they would be required to do the practice. The practice is basically like an assignment that they will have to turn in. So some of these are interactive and some are not. So in our very initial instructions, we suggested getting a notebook. If they're not interactive, they can just write that on a notebook paper, take a picture and send that to the teacher. Once the teacher gets that, they will unlock the quiz so they can try again. So Blued out means they haven't been done. And if I go backwards, you can see here check marks, green check marks mean they have been done. So I just wanted to make sure you knew the difference between the units and what those look like as they're working through. Lastly, I wanted to make sure that you understand the expectation really is the same as if children were on the teacher pace. It is about 5 hours a day on Apex to keep up with the instruction. Now, if a child jumps ahead and takes a quiz and gets that done, then they might be able to cruise through that unit pretty quickly. But at some point, they're going to have to go through and spend the time it takes to really get the material. Lastly, we have PE classes within our Apex Learning, and those PE classes, if your child is enrolled in PE, it's the only class that's a full semester long, which means it goes all the way until January. And part of that is going to be a fitness log. Those can be found in the Google Classroom for your child and will be submitted at the end of every month to make sure that they're making progress through the end of January. So make sure that you understand that the PE does have an Apex Learning, but the unit and what they have to do within there is pretty minimal. The main part of the PE program, if they're in PE, is that fitness log. So please encourage them to go into their Google Classroom. I'll go in here real quick and find one of those to show where those are. So here is one of our self-paced Google Classrooms. In the classwork tab, under the electives, there is the PE exercise log, and it's just a Google document that they can log in when they've been active. Every month there's a different goal based on the number of weeks within that month, and by the end that will meet the state requirements for minutes of activity for a PE credit. If you have any questions about this or other things, please contact myself, Allison Tobler at Westwood Middle School, or you can contact your child's Apex teacher. They should know who that is by now. It's one of our teachers that's assigned to kids, and it's a teacher that's listed on their Google Classroom. I hope this is helpful, and have a wonderful day. Go Wolverines!